Mo Willems and his writing craft of ellipses. Today we are going to take a look at the use of ellipses in Mo Willems' books Naked Mole Rat Gets Dressed and Leonardo the Terrible Monster. These two books are very well written and use the ellipses in the same way. First, let's talk about the books, and then we will talk about their use of ellipses. Let's get started. This is the story of Wilbur, the naked mole rat, who is teased by other naked mole rats because he likes to wear clothes. When he wears clothes, he feels he can be fancy or funny or cool or even an astronaut. Wilbur tries to convince all the other naked mole rats that wearing clothes was fun and unique. No one believed him until their great lead grandpa started to wear clothes. Wilbur had managed to inspire Grandpa to wear clothes, and all the other naked mole rats saw how cool it was, so they started wearing clothes too. Wilbur started selling clothes, and everyone was happy. This is the story of Leonardo the monster. He couldn't scare anyone. He thought he was a terrible monster because all the other monsters found a way to scare others, but Leonardo could just not find it in himself. So he decided he would find the biggest scaredy cat around and try to scare him. He found him, and his name was Sam. Leonardo did his best to scare him, and Sam started crying. Leonardo thought he succeeded until he found out that Sam was just having a really, really horrible week, and it wasn't him that made him cry, but it was everything else that was bundled up inside Sam that made him cry. Leonardo decided that instead of being a terrible monster, he would become a wonderful friend, and him and Sam are now best friends. But that doesn't mean he won't try to scare Sam every once in a while. This is an ellipsis. The three periods put together are used in a sentence to show that the sentence is going to be continued on somewhere else. Usually, when a sentence with an ellipsis is read, the reader will change their tone of voice toward the end. Let's take a look at some of the ellipses in the two stories and see how they are used. Here's an example. The sentence would be read like this. "I like clothes," replied Wilbur, "but when I get dressed, I can be..." Let's see what the connection of this is. Fancy, or funny, or cool, or I can just be an astronaut. You can see that the ellipses are showing the continuation of Wilbur's thought. When he dresses, he can be fancy, fun, cool, or even an astronaut. Next, we can look at the use of ellipses in Leonardo the Terrible Monster. You can see how in this sentence, Willems uses an ellipsis to show the continuation of a thought by the narrator. He didn't make it one long sentence, but he split it up and used an ellipsis as a separation, but to still show the togetherness of the sentence. Ellipses are used in all types of writing. Mo Willems uses them in almost all of his books. They are always being used to show continuation, and as a writer, you can learn to use them in your writing too, when you want to show that a sentence isn't just stopping and a new one is forming, but that the sentence is going to continue shortly somewhere else.